Well, welcome to the CIKFI Karting European Championships, Formula A and Formula Super A. Already on Eurosport, we have brought you the first rounds at Valence in France. These are the second rounds last weekend at Valvibrata, halfway down the Italian east coast, opposite to Rome. As you can see, beautiful weather here in Italy, and all the world's top kartists in Formula A, Formula Super A. This is Ernest Busa.
We are feeling very sad about what happened last weekend in Imola, and we are going to have 1 minute of silence all together, the drivers and the officials, in memory of the two people, and especially in memory of our friend Ayrton Senna, who was one of ours, and he passed away in such a tragic situation. Thank you.
Go-kart has given me a lot of pleasure, a lot of memories where I learn a lot. Many things that I know and I still use today when I drive Formula One.
And so the meeting opens with a moving tribute to Ayrton Senna, the man who started in karting, went on to become 3 times world champion, something all the 180 drivers here this weekend are hoping to emulate one day, moving from karting into Formula One. Drivers from almost every country. Ernest Busa, president of the FICIK, proudly showing off the Valvibrata pennant, presented on the occasion of the European Kart Championship round here. Well, on with Formula A, 100cc, 24 horsepower, gearless karts, of course. We've been bringing you this now for the last 3 years on Eurosport. Lights are red for the start of Formula A. On pole position, Arnaud Sarazan of France. Alongside him, David Forêt of Italy. It's Techno Kart against Tony Kart as they stream round. Out front already is Sarazan from pole with David Forêt straight behind him. Maxime Kumpen, brother of Sophie Kumpen, from Belgium on the 189 kart, in third place at the moment. 33 starters here at Valvibrata. And at the moment it's David Forêt who's out front. He's made a move to go past through. Maxime Kumpen, Daniel Dallari, Paolo Montaigne and Frederick Blin all there together, streaming around this circuit. But what a battle for the lead at the moment. Sarazan taking the lead again from David Forêt. And further down the field there, David O'Neill is there, son of the British Tony Kart importer, Mike O'Neill. Already off, Frederick Blin spins out. That's the Frenchman. He is not going to be going very far on his Tony Kart. Frenchman out. So a lot of infighting again. So much at stake this year in the European Championships. Last year, very much the property of Guy Denis, the world champion, of course, being David Terrien in the Sodi kart. All the guys from last year have now moved up the ladder into Formula Super A. We'll be looking at that later at this race meeting. But meanwhile, this battle out front goes on between Forêt and Sarazan. Sarazan, double winner at the opening round at Valence, in second at the moment. Then an accident there. That is between Dallari and Montaigne, both of them going out. There we see it from the side. Very lucky not to roll over. As the lead changes yet again, Forêt moving back past Sarazan. David Forêt from Italy on the Tony Kart, Rotax power, Vega tyres. Sarazan in the GKS Lemons power team from Belgium, although he's a French driver, with Techno power, Techno Kart, Rotax power, Vega tyres. Same as 1993 European champion Guy Denis, also with the same team. used in his championship year. Great passing manoeuvres here at the bottom end of the circuit. Valvibrata circuit at Teramo in Italy. Those who've been on holiday on the Adriatic coast will probably know Teramo. Not far from Ancona or Pescara. Circuit is just 50 meters over the kilometer. We see this great lead battle. These two now breaking away from third place. Luca Casasa from Italy. David O'Neill moving fast up the field as we see out already Nicholas Rossarini. Engine failure. Well, Sarrazin really pushing that kart out in front of David Faure. Maxime Kumpen still there in third place at the moment in the 189 kart. There is Maxime. As we said, brother of Sophie Kumpen, who's racing, of course, in Super A, having made the move up from Formula A from Stockrui in Belgium. All eyes on this lead battle, trying to repeat their performances at Valence. At Valence, the winners were Arnaud Salazan, as we're looking at the moment, in both those races. In the first race from Andrea Temporini, and in the second from Michel Pourier. But that was an accident there. We just looked down there to see Andrea Temporini, Marco De Pau and Faustio Minervini. Nobody hurt, but Minervini doing a spectacular double split as he exited his kart. The other two continue. Minervini out though after 6 laps. On the race goes. Out front, this battle, fascinating battle still between Sarrazin and Faure. France against Italy. At the moment it's Italy to the fore in the factory Tony kart. Casasa coming up behind fast on the factory CRG. Daniel Delara in the other factory Tony kart. David O'Neill looking further down the field, starting to climb up the order. So it's Faure, Sarrazin, Casasa and Kumpen at the moment. That is the top 4. Changing all the time though. If you're a betting man, which would you put your money on at the moment for this? The black helmet or the white helmet? At the moment it's the white helmet in front. The white helmet of Faure, the black helmet of Sarrazin, Arnaud Salazin. Luca Casasa in third place, a man who started on pole at Valence, but this time Sarrazin took that pole away from him. Slipstreaming there, and through comes Sarrazin. On the GKS Lemons, Techno Rotax, Vega tyres, both these front runners in fact, Rotax engines, Vega tyres, but different chassis, Tony kart for Faure and Techno, as we said, for Sarrazin. Well, Sarrazin controlling the race at the moment, keeping his man just behind him, although it all changes every lap. Luca Casasa, CRG, chassis, Rotax and Vega as well. So at the moment, Rotax Vega very much to the fore this year in the championship, winning both races at Valence. And look at this, there's nothing between them. David Faure just hanging in his slipstream. He knows he can pass any time he wants, I think, at the moment, under braking, but there's no hurry at the moment. If he can just keep pacing him, biding his time, he knows if he passes, then Sarrazin will do the same back to him. Sarrazin, 17 years old, from Montargis in France. He was the 1993 European Intercontinental Champion. He's already proved he is the class of the field of 94. As he goes ahead yet again. But then Faure comes back on the inside, so really there's nothing he can do. Faure certainly seems to have just a slight racer's edge over him at the moment. Every time that Sarrazin passes, Faure is able to respond, come back again. At the moment, just testing out his opposition, feeling the places he can pass, because it's all important on that last lap to be in position to slingshot past at a point where you know your rival can't then come back at you again. Already at the age of 17, both these drivers well versed in race tactics. 2 laps to go. There's the signal. Look at this. Fa&Fsa getting his head right down, try and reduce that air resistance. Both of them putting their hands over under braking to cool the engine a little, give it a bit more fuel as Sarrazin goes ahead. No point telling every time it happens. You can see for yourself. It changes on every corner now in these last 2 laps. 1 lap to go. There's the signal. Finger pointed in the air. It's going to be a long last lap, this, I think, for the man in front at the moment, David Fa&Fsa, because he knows that anywhere around this lap, Arnaud Sarrazin can come back. David O'Neill up into 4th place behind Luca Casasa. Great performance by David. 5th in the 1993 British Kart Championship. This is it. Through they go. On the final lap, and it's Fa&Fsa for Tony Kart, it's Sarrazin for Techno, Luca Casasa behind in the CRG, we haven't seen much of them, David O'Neill 4th for Britain in the Tony Kart, Julien Degout for BS, and Maxime Kumpen pushed back to 6th place after lying in 3rd place for so long in this race. The cameraman from pole snatched the lead to win, the man who is 2nd in the race, looking almost certain of victory now. He just gave a little victory nod there because this is it, checkered flag, and David Fa&Fsa takes away that winning streak of wins for Arnaud Sarrazin. Still a great performance for Sarrazin, and that will certainly ensure he stays at the top of the points table at the moment. There's the results for Sarrazin, Casasa. Well done, David O'Neill, Julien Degout and Maxime Kumpen.
Eurosport.
Like most supercars, this awesome machine runs on Bridgestone tires. But even at top speed, this car can't test Bridgestone tires to their limit. Bridgestone, the science of performance.
It might seem a little crazy for Saab to make a convertible, but it has nothing to do with logic and everything to do with love.
Well, welcome back to Val Vibrata in Italy, 2nd round of the FIA CIK European Karting Championships for Formula A, 100cc, 24 horsepower, gearless, as we see them on the rolling lap with out front the man who won the first race, David Fa&Fsa from Arnaud Sarrazin. Well, the lights have gone to green, they are in action already, and as they come up into those corners, that's David O'Neill. David O'Neill has gone through. What has happened? What has happened to Sarrazin? Well, he's missing. Arnaud Sarrazin has had a problem. There's an accident there between 1, 2, 3 karts. That was Ville, Touranon and Kumpen. Maxime Kumpen involved there. Both out. So David Neal leading. What a fine performance by David Neal. Yes, we have lost Sarrazin. He has had plug problems on the warm-up lap. He's dropped right to the back of the field, and it would appear he will take no further part in this race. Well, that was a big turn-up for this man, David Neal. He is leading the race. There's another accident here. Elran Nijenhuis, Axel Janssen and Kozi Yamawashi all out on only the 2nd lap of the race. 2 Dutchmen and a Japanese all tangling. Out they go. As David O'Neill continues to lead, 20 years old, from Ascot, finished 5th in the British Formula A Championship last year, as we told you. And at Valence, he had a 17th place after being involved in the first corner pile-up in the first heat, but he was the best British driver in the second final, finishing in 8th place. A man to really watch, a man maybe following in the footsteps of Ralph Furman, James Matthews, Michael Simpson, Matthew Davis. Great karting stars Britain is producing now, so keep watching this man, David O'Neill. Certainly the rest of the field is watching him very, very hard indeed, including Luca Casassa, who's in 2nd place at the moment. And behind him, David Faure, the man who won that first race. Now, can David make his tyres last? He's on Vega tyres. Tony Kart, as I told you earlier, his father Mike is the British Tony Kart importer. Ital System Power against Rotax of Faure and Rotax of Casassa. So the two Italians are really chasing David O'Neill now around this 1,050 metre Val Vibrata kart track, a great facility here. Given the honour of taking over the European round this year in Italy after last year's race. At Jesolo. Well, infield fighting all the way round, and they were looking at the moment at Julien Degut, still in control. David O'Neill, how long for there? Because behind him David Faure has gone through to 2nd place, pushing past Luca Casassa. Julien Degut behind David Bénard, and Andrea Temperini coming up behind them. There's a lot at stake in this, and the racing is very, very clear. And look at this, they're all trying to get round David O'Neill, one either side. Faure one side, Casassa the other, but O'Neill holding them off. What a great performance by the British driver, the first man certainly in the last year that we've seen leading a European Championship round. We saw Michael Simpson doing it last year. Michael, of course, racing in Super A now, was last year too, but this man out front, David O'Neill, a great performance. And so good for British karting. We're 169 there. Luca Casassa back ahead of David Faure, the first race winner this afternoon. 129 behind them, Julien Degut, and behind him, David Bénard, the Frenchman, all queuing up behind Biesa Chassis, Swiss Hutcliffe, and Top Kart for Bénard. O'Neill, still the class of the field in this race. Just coming to the picture there, Daniel Delari in his Tony Kart, teammate of Faure. There they are almost together, the two green overall drivers. But David O'Neill still holding everybody off. David Faure deciding maybe it's time to make a charge now, because we're halfway through the race. Luca Casassa and he holding each other up, and they're also having problems there with Julien Degut from France on the BAS Fox Vega kart. He wants to be in on the act as well. Well, how long can David stay out front? Hopefully for the whole of this race here in Valbrata. Finishing 4th in the first race and determined to make it a win this time. Kart looking a little bit slippery at the moment. He is going wider than those behind him. Is he holding up this train, or is it just purely he's out driving them? David Faure is trying to find out, slipstreams him down the start-finish straight, goes to the left, can't get round, has a look at the right, can't do anything about it. Meanwhile behind them, Christian Julien now in 4th place. And here comes the bid by David Faure. He goes inside at that corner, inside the kart of David O'Neill. Can O'Neill respond? He has got Luca Casassa all over his back. O'Neill not losing any ground, he's staying right there with the Tony Kart factory driver. He's in effect the British Tony Kart factory driver, David. Well, David Faure breaking away perhaps a little bit from David O'Neill, from Luca Casassa, from Christian Julien. Through goes Casassa. He timed that move, but O'Neill is not giving way. He tries to come back. He can't quite do it. He tries again. And that also has let through Christian Julien to Christian Julien up into third place. This is the second and third place then we're looking at the moment. Luca Casata of Italy, Christian Julien of France, and David O'Neill in fourth place. Also coming up there, 151. Head stuck down, get that maximum air attack. Now Daniel Delara having a look at David O'Neill. David's tyres, I think, must have gone off because suddenly he's being swallowed up. He's down to fifth place now after a great drive leading the field for well over the first half of this Val Vibrata second final of Formula A. Well, Christian Julien, we should say, and Luca Casata locked in battle for second place, letting David Faure go further and further away. And now Julien's tyres going off a little bit, I think, because the kart is sliding more and more across the road. Behind them, Daniel Delari from Italy. But Christian Julien seems to be able to respond a little bit. Picking up a rear wheel there as they go into that hairpin at the bottom end of the circuit. Still holding off Luca Casata. Man who finished third in the first race. At the moment he might be doing the same in this race. A lot of championship prestige at stake in this race already because Sarrazin and Casata are the two leaders at the moment. David Faure goes through. He does it on the inside. Sorry, that is Faure being challenged now. Faure being challenged for the lead by Julien Christian. Managed to put off that attack. Drop Luca Casata back a little bit. So Faure, Julien Casata, Daniel Delari next. Then David O'Neill, then Julien Degut. Looking for David O'Neill, just saw him in the background there, coming in. That is the 169 CRG Rotax Vega. Factory kart of Luca Casata. In third place, chasing these two. It seems now in vain because Faure and Julien are going out on the head, and Julien takes the lead. Christian Julien leading here. With just a handful of laps to go in the second Formula A final here at Val Vibrata. Julien, Faure, Casata, Delara, O'Neill, Degut. That's the top six at the moment. Can David O'Neill stay in the top five? We don't know because at the moment we are watching David Faure go back into the lead. Apologising there, maybe he slid a little bit wide. I think it upset Christian Julien. I don't think it was a deliberate move, but as you saw from the way he acknowledged his mistake, but officials take a very stern view of this sort of driving, and I think there's a strong possibility they will be waving the black flag at him, the warning flag, at the end of this lap. Yes, indeed, there it is. Christian Julien then leading from David Faure, who's just gone off the boil a little bit, having been chastened by that black flag. It's allowed Luca Casata to catch them both up. Now Faure's going to have to make a big effort on these last 2 or 3 laps to try and get past. There it is, 2 laps to go. So Faure trying to get past Julien Christian, or Christian Julien, double-barrel Christian name. Faure just desperate to make it a double this weekend, just as Sarrazin did at Valence in the opening race this year, but Sarrazin is not going to do it this time. Second in the first race and already out of the second race with plug trouble, even on the warm-up lap. Well, those two are tied together still as Luca Casata does all he can, but we see that now David O'Neill's been pushed back because Daniele Dalari and Julien Degut have come through. This is the lead battle though. It is David Faure who's gone past again. No, he hasn't. That is Christian Julien still leading. We're just looking at his teammate for a moment there. This is what we saw, in fact. A very, very strange move there. Halfway down the straight. Suddenly a great sideways twitch by Julien Degout. I don't know what happened there. Daniel Delare. And look at this, round the outside. Tried to go Julien, he can't do it. David Faure realizes he's got the better of him. He punches both hands in the air. Julien up on two wheels, and David Faure makes it the double. So at Valence and at Val Vibrata we've had double winners. Arnaud Sarrazin in the first and David Faure in this one. David O'Neill finishing sixth behind Julien Degout, which means that David O'Neill wins. He's on the podium. He finishes in the top three overall, with a fourth and sixth place this weekend at Val Vibrata, which is good enough to put him seventh in the European Championship. Sarrazin leading from Casassa, David Faure, Andrea Tempanini, who did very little here, Julien Degout, Michel Pourier, and then David O'Neill. The difference from Sarrazin with 42 points to David O'Neill is 21 points. There's confirmation of the results. Stay with us on Eurosport. We'll be back after the break to look at Formula Super A, also from Val Vibrata.
Eurosport.
Colombia versus Bayern Munich, Sunday at midnight live, and again on Monday at 3 p.m. on Eurosport. The Eurosport phone-in competition with Club Méditerranée. This week you can win a trip for two to the fabulous Opio Village Club in the south of France. Also to be won, Fruit of the Loom casual wear. Just dial the following number right now. Hello?
Hello.
And good luck. Incredible action. Outstanding scenery. The thrills of speed. You have it all. Monday, 8 p.m, Speed World on Eurosport.
Welcome back to Eurosport. This is Mark Cole looking back at the second round of the FIA CIK European Karting Championships Formula Super A. Still 100cc, but more power, 28 horsepower, bigger tyres. And of course the more experienced drivers amongst them, Nicola Gianniberti on pole position, the 1993 European champion, Milton Rietarbris of Sweden alongside him. And next to him, Daniele Parilla. Giancarlo Fisichella, who's already racing for 2 years in the Italian Formula 3 Championship, Jarno Trulli, and David Terrien of France, the man who won the 1993 Formula A World Championship on the Sodi kart, has brought the Sodi kart now into the Senior Formula. On the rolling lap, lights are red, 24 laps to go, lights go green, and straight away into the lead goes Milton Rietarbris from Gianniberti, Rob Parilla, the Rietarbris there in the red, Birol, factory Vega tyre entry. Rietarbris, 21 years old, from Roninge in Sweden. Not such a good European Championship last year, but look at the lead the man has already. This is quite extraordinary. Lotte Hellberg there behind him as well. Pole position, Rietarbris, as we told you. Jarno Trulli started alongside him, the man who was the Formula A World Champion in 1991, but has had not such good results since. He really looks on form this weekend. Trulli was second. In Valence, already out is Alessandro Zanella. He is out of the race, off the track, and a collision there. between Christophe Vassort, and we couldn't see who the other person was. But whoever it was continued. Well, Gianni Berti looking to try and catch the leader at the moment, Milton Ritabris. So Hellberg, Parilla, Fisichella, Bellici, Palmieri and Gianni Berti all stringing out behind. There is the First Lady of Karting in second place, Lotte Hellberg. She had pole position at the Valence meeting. Now looking to try and repeat some of those performances of last year. She had a win last year. There she is in the 44 cart, tucked in right behind her. Daniela Parilla, 18 years old, from Cesenatico in Italy. Through he goes into second place. Swiss Hutless this year, after running Ital system last year. But Ritabris at the moment still ahead, as all this infighting between Parilla and Hellberg, and also coming up through Fisichella. Had some Italian Formula 3 championship wins last year. He's already had one this year, but he still likes to keep his hand in karting. Fisichella, there he is in the 65 kart. Lotte Hellberg being pushed further and further back, but look at Milton Ritabris, the Vega factory driver, just going away. There's nothing the rest can do about it at the moment. It seems to be in a different race at this stage, certainly a much greater difference than we just saw in the Formula A race. Daniele Parilla, fourth in qualifying, driving for Swiss Hutless, Ital system, Bridgestone tyres. In second place at the moment from his great rival Giancarlo Fisichella, who's PCR battery kart, PCR engine, Bridgestone tyres. But Vega showing the way at the moment, and behind them in the 44 kart is Lotte Hellberg, CRG Rotax Vega. Looking further down the field for Michael Simpson. We haven't seen him yet, but Michael is in there. Had a fairly rotten qualifying at the moment. Running in 13th place. Finished 20th in the first race at Valence. And then was excluded in the second with a broken airbox. Not one of the best races for the Simpson team. Michael, who performed so well in Laval last year, hoping for greater things this year. Still waiting to see him come into the picture. At the moment the picture is full of this bunch behind Lotte Hellberg, trying to get back into third place, even into second place. Milton Ritabris a long way ahead. I don't believe at the moment there's anything any of these drivers can do. Nicola Gianni Berti, maybe the man who could do it, just saving his tire, sitting back a little bit on the number one Jolly Kart, Rotax Vega Power. There's the leader, there's second, third, fourth, fifth, and there, even as we said it, Nicola Gianni Berti doing one of these charges which we saw so often last year on his way to the European and World Championships. Looking now to go past the battling Italians Parilla and Fisichella. Gianni Berti, a man very much, I think, in the Ayrton Senna mode from what we've seen this year. He's just biding his time there on the number one Jolly Kart, letting those three ahead of him fight it out themselves. And it's still Fisichella from Parilla, from Lotte Hellberg. What a great season for Hellberg this year. Been really on the pace, although not so good at Valence after taking pole there. A performance good enough in qualifying in the heats to start a third on the grid. There in the PCR, it's Fisichella. Milton Ritabris really getting tucked down to it. keep watching Nicola Gianniberti in the number 1 car, also behind him. We saw David Terrien in the Sodi kart, the all-blue Sodi kart. There he is. And there is, in fact, Gianniberti going through. What a great move on the inside. He took maybe 2 places then. We'll see as they come round. There is David Terrien on the number 2 Sodi kart, and just behind him, Isabelle Fleury, who's also made the move up. The French lady racer. Well, Gianniberti made it into 3rd place. They're behind them. Terrien and Fleury, the 2 young French drivers, one on the Sodi kart, the other driving for Birrell. She's been spotted by the Birrell Italian factory team. She's been signed up for the year. They're expecting great things of her. Well, this is the battle between Rita Arbris now, and he's suddenly being caught by Parilla. Well, Parilla's right up there. There was a huge gap just 1 lap ago. That gap has disappeared. Daniele Parilla climbing all over the back of Rita Arbris. Nicola Gianniberti still in there in the jolly cart. Rotax, Vega. Rita Arbris is just leading, but only just now. I'm sure his tyres must be shot. Daniele Parilla behind him. Giancarlo Fisichella behind him. And Gianniberti all the time just poising, trying to come through. He's got Jarno Trulli lined up now. He's been pushed back 1 place. Trulli went past him again. He was as high as 3rd. He's gone back again. Here he comes down the inside of Trulli. Just watch this move. This is what made the man the all-conquering Formula A champion last year. Well, the lead goes to Parilla. Parilla goes on the inside of Milton Rita Arbris. There's nothing Rita Arbris can do to come back at the moment. And look at this chain. This is the lead battle between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 karts. Still Parilla, from Rita Arbris, from Gianniberti. I've been telling you to watch Gianniberti. Just look at this man. He's now into 3rd place. He has kept his tire safe. Rita Arbris goes through, back into the lead. And Gianniberti is following him. He goes through into 2nd place. Well, Gianniberti just absolutely superb again. Star of Formula Super A for the 2nd year running, it looks like at the moment. He could only manage a 4th in Valence after having problems. The winners there were Daniele Parilla and Jarno Trulli, but is he going to win this race? He's certainly lining himself up here at Val Vibrata. Home circuit for him, and there he takes it into the lead. Nicola Gianniberti. It's very cool, very calculating. Rita Arbris comes back though on the inside. He can't do it because Gianniberti has that line covered. Nicola Gianniberti for Jolly Kart. Milton Rita Arbris for Birrell from pole position, now in 2nd place. And 3rd at the moment is Daniele Parilla for Swiss Hutcliffe. Giancarlo Fisichella in 4th place. And in 5th place, Jarno Trulli. Well, again, Rita Arbris tries to go through there, but it is covered by Gianniberti. He just has that wide sweeping line that takes him around the outside of anyone trying to get inside. Off goes number 2, David Terrien there. We saw Terrien spinning into a pile of officials. No one hurt, thankfully. Gets back on the track, though. Gianniberti, Rita Arbris, Parilla, Fisichella, Jarno Trulli, David Terrien though still in 6th place. He's got back on the circuit. There he is coming into the picture. So it's only a momentary aberration. And Rita Arbris is briefly in the lead, but just watch Gianniberti feints the left, feints the right. Through he goes, back on the inside, and it looks like he's going to be followed through if Parilla can do it. But no, Gianniberti, Rita Arbris, Parilla, Fisichella, Trulli, David Terrien then bring up the next bunch. And look at these 5 karts fighting for the lead. any one of these five could win now. Rytarbris comes through again. Wow, what a great response by the Swedish driver. Checkered flag there though, and Gianni Berti takes it from Rytarbris, Parilla, Fisichella and Trulli. Michael Simpson manages to finish 13th, right behind Isabel Fleury. And looking further down the Brits in the final, only two of them, Matthew Davis finishing 27th on his PCR factory kart. Well, that was a great race indeed. There's another one in the moment coming up here on Eurosport. Race 2 of the FIA CIK Championship. Confirmation of the results, all Italians until David Terrien, French in 6th place.
Eurosport.